Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Over the Void by developer Marie Renaud. This is another tough one to classify actually, just like yesterday's episode, although maybe this one's a little bit more grounded in a more of a game experience. Formally we would call this, I guess, a first-person platformer, but it's definitely got a bit of an exploration, surreal, kind of cerebral, introspective kind of moment going on in it too, where each world that we're going to explore is actually its own unified, coherent place, and basically the one thing that unifies all of these experiences is, I think, is about 9 or 10 levels or so, as the fact that we'll be traversing over a void that if we fall into, well, disaster befalls us as always. So our goal is to explore these worlds, have a good time, enjoy ourselves, and find some buttons which will unlock the goal to the next world. So let's press escape to start our wandering, and I'll show off a little bit of what this gameplay is all about. Very briefly, I do like to always hit all of the buttons on the title screen there, just to give us whatever other info there might be. And let's go to options, because I do like to show those off as well. We've got just a few here. Resolution, quality, those are both maxed out for me. It doesn't show them here, though, but if I click on them, it will take me somewhere else. Volume is all the way up. Mouse sensitivity, X and Y, is pretty low, but actually gets the job done right where it is. I have a game that's roughly about 25 minutes or so into this, maybe 20 minutes, somewhere in there. But we're going to do a new game just so I could show off the first few areas, because I really think it would be a huge problem to kind of spoil a lot of the stuff that happens further in the game, just because really a lot of what makes this so special is the art, which was, well, the art and the music. It's kind of a coherent thing. When they come together, it really does form something greater than the sum of its parts. So, you know, let's try and leave some of that for you guys to discover on your own, I suppose. So first things first, we've got on the wall here a little sort of portal-like demonstration of our buttons and commands and stuff. I do want to mention this game was developed with a French keyboard in mind, so you may have to do some remapping. First thing, as you can see, it's got Z mapped as the W key if you're coming at this from like a North American perspective. So right in the beginning, before you actually got to the launch menu, there's one of those Unity launchers. You can actually remap the key right there. So I now have a proper, well, for me anyway, proper WASD configuration. So we've got left click is going to produce one of these little, sort of like a folded open origami Chinese food box that we can step into and use it for a platform. Now, that sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? There's not a whole lot to that concept, and on its face value, you know, if that was all there was to this game, it would probably get pretty boring. Thankfully, though, traversal a lot more interesting than that. So what's this say over here? I haven't actually read this one. What are we gonna do? Oh, gravity, I'm not falling for you, oh, gravity. So we want to make sure we don't fall, clearly, and we want to go explore these buttons, and we actually need to be a little bit off the ground to even read that text. I am inexorably attracted to this glowing red button. Yeah, that's true, actually. Glowing red buttons do have that effect on people. What's going on over here? I like when buttons turn green. If it happens on your face, go get a doctor. Alright. What are you? Nom nom nom. So it's the portal eating. So it needs one or several buttons to be open, and that's kind of where it leaves us. The one thing that I find really peculiar, though, is that it doesn't mention what happens if you right-click. Oh, can I not right-click at this point? I guess I can't. Maybe I have to unlock that ability, which is why it probably didn't mention it here. Alright, so eventually we get the ability to bounce around, and it kind of gets so much better when we can do that. For now, though, all we've got is just this standard platform here. So let's hit that button, and as you can see, the door down there just opened up, and we'll actually have the first level to go explore, because this was just tutorial stuff. So let's wander on through. Ah, okay, here's where it tells us that. Forgot where that was. Oh, careful, we don't want to fall. So we can right-click, find all the buttons, that opens the door to the next level. Okay, so we got that point. So let's see down there, we've got a red button. There's another one up there. There's another one over there. And we're going to be exploring some very Z-axis oriented spaces, which I find to be very interesting. It's not a thing you see done very often. Although, you know, I feel like it kind of should be a little bit more of a balance between the two. I do completely understand the point of the premise being so vertically oriented, but it's also nice sometimes just to kind of take in these atmospheres and not have to worry about falling. Although, the way that you're given the tools that you're given, honestly, you're not going to run into a lot of issues falling to your death, most likely, just because, well, it's so easy to just look down and place a platform for yourself. So if you find yourself falling, just do that and you'll be fine. Alright, so let's make our way down over here, and I'll show you in a second what it looks like to start the bouncing process. There's also little collectible red spinning cube things that'll be around occasionally, but I think since I started a new game, it's still got my other file where I've already grabbed most of those, so I might warp ahead to another level. So there's our blue platforms, which, as you can see, really helps out with the whole wandering thing, because we have the ability to just shoot ourselves way up in the air. If we didn't have that tool, I find this whole game would have suffered immensely, I have a feeling, because just looking down all the time and jumping up as if we're playing Minecraft or something would certainly get old. I mean, the premise here is really just to take in the sights and sounds, enjoy yourself, look around, have a fun time exploring, and try not to think too hard about any one thing in particular, and having the ability to not really have to think too much about the traversal element actually makes this reasonably effortless and a lot more frictionless, which I think is a great decision on the developer's part. Like, if we had to really take our time with each movement, I think it would really be to the detriment of the experience on the whole. So this first level is actually not quite as representative of the visuals of the whole game. I think this is actually one of the somewhat less interesting ones, although still very beautiful, don't get me wrong. It does kind of feel like we're in a bit of a box. Whereas in some of the other ones, we've got a lot more free space to explore in. Also, the tone of this one is a little bit more foreboding and melancholy than some of the ones later, which feel a lot more celebratory and exciting. You can, by the way, step on these little swooping arc effects, which are kind of nice to use as platforms if you find yourself in the need for more. Let's check around the other side of this, whatever this black swoopy thing is. Let's see, is there... No, we don't seem to have a button over here. I don't actually remember all the buttons are, so I'm going to have to kind of figure those out as we go. One thing that I do want to make note of, and I don't know if this is just because the game is still super early, maybe there's some issues still to be ironed out, but I did run into an occasion where I used my bounce pads a little bit egregiously and sort of pinned myself underneath a platform in a way that I couldn't actually get out of without restarting the game. So that was a little frustrating, but, you know, I also kind of get that this very abstract landscape is certainly not easy to troubleshoot, since there's so many ways you can wedge yourself into it. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Thank you for your courteous greeting. Where do we have to go? There's got to be another button up here somewhere. Oh, that was a big launch we just took there. I think I'm getting stuck up into the void here. I got to be careful I don't wedge myself up again. Don't see any more buttons. I must have missed one, maybe back lower a bit, because this door has not opened yet. Can't see any red from up here, right? I really like this purple crystalline sort of structure to the walls. I think that's very, very pretty. Also, you can walk on these edges. I didn't even realize that. Most things do seem to have mass in this game, which is kind of nice. I mean, occasionally you'll run into something that acts sort of like a hologram, but usually you can walk on stuff. Is there nothing on the other side of this? Okay, I guess this smoke pattern is not for me to play around in. Where did I miss a red button? There's gotta be one around here somewhere. A lot of the time there it is. It's on the underside of that platform. The developer seems to put them in places that are, like, just a bit out of the way where you wouldn't necessarily think to look, which, you know, sort of greatens the whole scavenger hunt experience, I would say. Oh, almost walked right by it there. It's a little tough sometimes to judge perspective on things when you're moving with so little to ground yourself. Like, there's nothing you can relate to in terms of the geometry here. There we go. There, and I think we've got a door unlock sound as well, so I think we can go up now. Very ethereal, very mysterious presentation. I really enjoy it. These little cubes hanging in the air as well. They're very, very cool. Alright, so we're just going to bounce our way all the way up, and I think we're at the door already. Let's warp on to the next level. And this is where the game really starts to come into its own, I find. This is a really happy experience. This sort of reminds me of starting to play the game Lumines a little bit. It's got this very exciting journey ahead feeling. Like, it's very vibrant. It has this just a warm, welcoming attitude to it, which is just really nice. So it says, come with me, and then we'll begin our journey to go through this crazy, turny, topsy-turvy world where you can't even tell, like, where up and down are. It reminds me a little bit of some of those levels from the original Rayman as well, where it's like everything is sort of powered by music in a way. And as you can see, well, the gameplay sort of is self-explanatory at this point. We hit buttons, we look for secrets, we explore, we have a good time, we take our time, and just take in the music, the sights, and the sounds, and don't try too hard to do any one thing in particular other than fall. That's really the only thing you can't do, is just, you know, don't fall. But again, you're not probably going to do that very often. There's quite a few buttons on this level too, so you got to take our time, really walk around, explore the whole Z-axis space like I mentioned earlier. And what I might do just for the sake of showing you something else, just to, you know, give you a good preview of a lot of the different environments. Maybe I will just warp ahead one more level just to show you that, but I don't want to go too much further than that. I mean, look at the size of this. The scope of it is really, really cool. And I do want to be quiet for a second just so you can hear the music, because it's also really, really well done. I love the music in this. In fact, the soundtrack, I think, is just as important, if not more important, than some of the visuals at times. The whole thing really comes together in a very unified way. What else is going on here? Is there anything else? Yeah, we can go a little higher above the black smog stuff. Let's go back out to the main menu, though. And we'll go, can we load? Ah, there we go. Come with me, a floating thought. I think we want to go to this one right here. I just love the visuals to this so much. That's so pretty. It's almost got like a Tim Burton-y kind of quality to it, doesn't it? These little kind of tentacles coming out of this void at the bottom. Everything's got this, you know, kind of surreal... It's a mix between organic and mechanical, and then there's also some sort of a mix of the tangible and the ethereal at the same time, which are not really things that you often can see coming together in such a manner. And it's really, really lovely to behold, and it's just great to walk around in. So, I don't want to spoil any more of the game because I want to leave it up to you guys to go explore on your own. And again, to enjoy the music and the sights and the sounds. And if you would like to check this out, it's actually available right now on Steam. The price is actually, as of this recording, for at least another day or so, it will be up for 15% off, so it's $4.24, but it goes up to its normal price of $4.99. I haven't finished the whole experience, but I would probably guess that if you were to play this through from start to finish, taking a reasonable amount of time, you'd probably get about an hour's worth of gameplay out of it. You know, maybe if you took it even slower, or maybe some of the later levels are a bit longer even than some of the earlier ones. But judging from the pace that I was going through the levels at, it kind of seemed like that was about the length of time you'd get out of it. So, you know, $5 for an hour of experience or longer seems okay to me, especially if you're into this kind of gameplay. I think you could get quite a bit out of it. It's just the kind of thing you want to sit back and relax and maybe play with some headphones in a dark room. You know, when you're feeling maybe a little bit sleepy or something, it'll just kind of lull you into a trance in a very positive and happy way. So, you know, that's my recommendation. I think it's a cool game. I think you should check it out. But obviously, I also understand it's not for everybody. The gameplay here is certainly not traditional in any real way. It's just an exploratory, introspective type of moment. And, you know, I hope that you guys can get something out of that. I think that certainly has a home here on this channel. It's kind of like the exact type of thing that I look for the most part. And just in terms of art presentation, really, really beautiful stuff. I really love this art. So I look forward to seeing some of Marie's future works, and this one is a job well done. So thank you everybody for watching. As always, there's going to be a link to this game if you want to check it out right in the description. And again, it is on Steam. But if you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like on it. That helps me a whole bunch and continues to support the channel in keeping us doing indie impressions every single day. So on that same note, if you want to check out a new game every single day without exception, we've been running for, we're getting close to the 1,000 consecutive episodes mark. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can get all the new notifications about whatever's going on. In addition to the Indie Impression series, I also do Let's Plays and other things too, generally with an indie focus. So, oh, that's really quite cool. I didn't even think to start spinning my viewpoint around. Okay, that's gonna make me dizzy though. Alright, so thank you everybody for watching. I hope to see you again tomorrow, and I hope you have a fantastic night. I will talk to you all later.